Hey everybody, it's Matt. Wrestling with Whiskey is back one more time. Another bottle on the table, another chance to try something new. And right up front, I want to tell you this is kind of something new and interesting because this is the first sample provided by a distillery to us here at Wrestling with Whiskey. I say that as if it's more than just me sitting in my house. But it's very cool. First time a distillery has decided to send us a sample of their product. They saw the whiskey page, they saw the YouTube page, and they wanted to see if we could try it. Again, I said we. I don't know why. But I want to be upfront that they provided the sample. They did not provide any compensation or direction on what to do with it. All I told them was I would love to try your product, and I will give an honest opinion on what I think of it. So this is Limousin RYE, which comes from Dancing Goat Distillery in Cambridge, Wisconsin. They are a newer distillery, and this is their first primary spirit. They have a couple of liqueurs out, but this is their first whiskey that they're putting out. And it's kind of a interesting process. They've got a lot going on. They start by putting the rye distillate into used American barrels. Then I believe they're transferred to used French barrels, and they're finished in a solera system using Limousin, which is a different type of French oak barrels as well. So 3 different types of barrels over the course of a few years. Right now, I believe that the aggregate age of everything, including finishings and all that stuff, is around 3 years. Yes, this is aged a minimum of 3 years. So, but that's including all the transferring from barrel to barrel. So, this also says it's finished in oak barrels. It also says barrel aged with French oak staves. I don't know if that means it's like a Maker's 46 situation, where they stick staves into the barrel, or that just means that's just describing the Limousin or the other French oak that they use. So it's a little confusing to read about it, especially the solera aging. It's very kind of technical with transferring from barrels, but that's what this is. But guys, there's only one way to really figure out what it's all about, because all the science and mumbo jumbo lead it to here, and then it's going to go into here and into here. So let's do that. And we're back. Got it in our glass here, and let's start taking a look at what we see, smell, taste, and everything else. So right now, I'm going to tell you, if you can kind of see it, it's a bit of a light distillate. It is only about 3 years old, or at least 3 years old, excuse me. But it is still very light. I've seen some 4-year products that are pretty dark, so this is a little light considering. But we've also seen very light scotches that have been aged for dozens of years, it seems, you know. So I think a lot of that probably has to do with the used barrel being used first. So not a ton of color comes from those initial months like it does in most virgin oak. So that may explain the light color. Legs are there, nothing to write home about, but they're running pretty not viscously, but very quickly. So they're not sticking to the glass too much. Let's take a whiff. Right off the bat, it's very, very floral and kind of grain forward, which you would expect from a rye, the kind of floral notes. Definitely some light fruit. Light, like cherries, grapes kind of thing. Definitely with like an herbal. And just only that little bit of like the caramellos that you would get normally from a whiskey. Again, probably not taking a ton from that initial barrel because it is used oak. But all in all, I would say it smells like a very grain-forward rye. The floral notes are there, the sweetness of the fruit, but it's got this kind of young, grainy, like the rye or the corn, not quite corn, but it is grain-forward. Cheers, everybody. Okay. So based on how this smelled, I thought it smelled a little young, hence the grain forward, but it doesn't bite like it's 3 years or so. Nice little bit of warming spice. The rye, I mean, it's definitely a rye whiskey. You can taste that. The caramels come through. The vanillas that you would get from whiskey come through a little bit more on the palate. Let's take another sip. the lighter like grape notes, almost like a light, like it's almost like a light scotchy note. It's not, I don't know if it's a malted barley kind of note, but it is a yeah, from the nose all the way to the palate, and the initial whiffs and sips, there's this almost like a scotchy or even like aged white wine note to it. It's a little, just slightly tannic, little off profile for whiskey, but considering the kind of the solera and finishing process, it's I guess you might come to expect that. Again, the grains are coming to the front of the palate. You can almost taste the gristle of the rye in there. Not a big mouthfeel. It's pretty thin. Not very enveloping. Nice little spicy. Doesn't have, like I said, not a lot of alcohol burn or bite. It is it's only 47% ABV. So it's not super high proof. But that said, you can definitely taste the grain. You can taste the youth. I guess there's a lot going on. And considering a lot of the ryes that are out there that are young, that are 3-4 years, Willet and, you know, Old Forester, obviously those are from much larger companies, but just straight ryes, which this can't be called because it goes right into used oak instead of virgin oak. I see a lot more flavor and punch coming from some 4-year ryes, and this is only a year younger. I wonder if maybe going into a fresh barrel first, absorbing some of those flavors and colors, then trying a used French oak, and then maybe trying the solera system. I'm absolutely not an expert at anything. This is absolutely an interesting whiskey. There's a lot going on. I don't think it goes great with my palate. I'm not completely sold on it yet, but this is one of those ones I definitely would want to follow because they are doing some very cool things. And I think that's something in the whiskey industry. There's a lot of us purists out there. I lean that way sometimes too. I like it done the old way because I think it's done so well. But we got to move forward, right? We've got to move on. We can't just only do things one way forever because that's not always sustainable. So I applaud people trying different things. As long as you're not trying to take a shortcut and you're just trying to do something innovative and new, I'm all for it. So, Dancing Goat, I look forward to see where you're going. This one is not quite for me, but who knows? Maybe in a few more years, we got a 4, 5, 6 year solera finished rye. It might be something phenomenal because there's hints of the floral and herbal flavors here that are very intriguing. But right now, it comes off a little thin on the palate. That's it for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I want to thank Dancing Goat Distillery, Cambridge, Wisconsin. They're new. They're trying some stuff. If you're in the Midwest, go check them out. Thank you to them for sending over the sample. A first for our show. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, it's not the last. And everybody, go out, try some new whiskey. Try something finished. Try something totally weird and out there. And always, always try to be wrestling with whiskey. Yeah.